Everyone, it's Jen from Crafty Jen Crafts, and I'm here today to show you my favorite bind off, the Knit Two Together through the back loop bind off. I have shown how to do this bind off on my channel here before, but I want to show it to you again because I have now started doing this one little change at the end, and so I want to show you how to do that. I love this bind off because it's easy, it's really fast, it makes a really loose bind off, which for me is very important. And it just looks, I think, so good. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do it. So what we're doing for this bind off is really all in the name. We're knitting two together through the back loop while binding off. I personally do this on the right side of my work when I'm binding off most of the time. Obviously, there's some times where a pattern will call for binding off on the wrong side, or maybe you just like how it looks better when you do this bind off on the wrong side. But most of the time, I'm putting this on the bottom of shawls and things like that, and I like how it looks when I do this bind off on the right side of my work. So we're ready to work our final row, and for me, that is a right side row. And all I'm going to do is knit two together through the back loop. So normally when you knit two together, you would just go through your two stitches like this to knit two together. But we're going to go through the back loop. So we're going to take our right needle and go around literally to the back and go through these two stitches just like that. And then knit two together through the back loop. Now we have one stitch on the right needle. We're just going to slip it back to the left needle just like that. And then we're going to knit two together through the back loop again. So there we go. Knit two together through the back loop and off. And that's all there is to it. We're going to slip it, knit two together through the back loop. And just keep working in that fashion. I find once you get this bind off down, and this one is a pretty easy one to learn in my opinion, you can really do this one pretty quickly, which is nice. I just try as I'm working to not pull too tightly on my working yarn. I know sometimes we have a tendency to want to kind of crank down on that. Now is not the time for a tight stitch. And knit two together through the back loop. And I've sort of found a way that I can get into a rhythm with this, where instead of slipping this way and then knitting two together through the back loop, I actually come at it this way. But you can find what works for you. What you're ultimately doing is getting your next two stitches on the left needle, knitting them together through the back loop. And so I'm going to just continue this process until I have two stitches left on the left hand needle. There's one extra little easy step I like to take at the end of my bind off to make it look nice and neat. So I want to show you how to do that as well. Here I am coming to my last few stitches. I have two stitches left on the left hand needle, and I have one stitch on the right needle from where I had just done that last knit two together through the back loop. So you could keep going and continue your knit two together through the back loop and then just have one final stitch and be done. But I find sometimes with my bind offs that you can get sort of that loose stitch over here, and it's kind of annoying. And it, especially if it's on something like a shawl, I don't know. I feel like I personally can always see it. So what I like to do is when I have two stitches left on the left hand needle, I knit those two stitches together. And this I'm doing a regular knit two together. So we've been doing the back loop this way. We're doing a regular knit two together here. And then we're going to pass the first stitch over the second and be done. And I find if I just give that a little tug, it makes a much neater ending to my bind off. So now that that is done, we can simply grab our little scissors here Leave ourselves a tail. And then I do like to bring the tail through that last stitch to secure it, just like that. And we're done. And this bind off, you can see, is really very loose, which is very nice, again, on things like shawls. But even if you're just somebody that binds off kind of tight, I encourage you to try this one. I have a couple rows of garter stitch here before I did that bind off on the right side row. And I really love how that looks. Like, it almost a little bit looks like an I-cord, not quite, but it almost could look decorative while still being stretchy and easy and fast and neat and tidy. So it's a really great bind off to know. So that's it for the Knit Two Together through the back loop bind off. If you enjoyed learning about this bind off, I encourage you to check out my new book, The Perfect Guide to Casting On and Binding Off. It's a book that shows you about 10 different cast-ons, 10 different bind-offs with step-by-step photos on how to do it. I do include in here the Knit Two Together through the back loop bind-off, so this is with photos, as well as a bunch of other cast-ons and bind-offs that I love. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.